What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the top 5 Pokemon that you should be investing in, that you should be focusing on powering up to finish off the month of May 2020. I thought it would be a lot of fun to talk about this and to just kind of bring everything together, maybe on a monthly basis, maybe a little bit more frequently, because we've been seeing a lot of Pokemon that have been now introduced into the game, and then older Pokemon getting new exclusive moves or just new moves in general. A lot of changes have been happening, so this needs to be a series where we just kind of bring everything together and I give you a comprehensive list of Pokemon to focus on, at least for right now. If you do enjoy this video, if it is helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first Pokemon that we have on this list is Cresselia. Now technically it's going to be on here for two different reasons, but this Pokemon in general is seeing a huge improvement in its performance from the PvP side, and why you may want to go ahead and focus your investments on it. So as far as this Pokemon is concerned, it has a super low attack stat, so not that many people from the raid side have, of course, focused on it. That makes total sense. But when you take a look at its defense and stamina, it's doing extremely well and still maintains an overall ranking of 92nd in Pokemon Go. So anyways, with Cresselia, the change that we ended up seeing with this Pokemon and why we are kind of seeing it being put on this list, number one is going to be the fact that we now have the exclusive move Grass Knot. If you were fortunate enough to get it from the Throwback Challenge Sinnoh edition, then you got yourself that. If not, you could potentially Elite TM it. It's going to be completely up to you. But really, we're seeing an improvement in the performance for two different reasons. Number one, the Great League, and then number two, the Ultra League. And it's actually for two kind of different move sets, though, which is important to mention. Firstly, when you're talking about that Grass Knot Cresselia, as far as investing into it, but the ideal IVs are actually at level 20, and then you want to go with a 2, 15, 13. So of course the best way to do that is going to actually be through trading instead. If not, go ahead and try to get yourself as close as you possibly can, of course trying to lower that attack stat for the best results. But regardless of all of that, we are seeing the exclusive move Grass Knot shining in the Great League, and as far as the investments are concerned, it would actually be unlocking a secondary charge move. That way you can pretty much already have this Pokemon ready to go. And if you're interested in using it for the Ultra League, it actually does better with Future Sight and then Moonblast instead. So it is a little bit more of an investment, but it is currently ranked at number 1 in the Ultra League. So Cresselia is an incredible investment from the PvP side. Anyways, if we move on to the number 4 spot, we've got Palkia. So Palkia ended up getting an update to its moveset as well with the new move Aqua Tail. So luckily for us, Aqua Tail is not an exclusive move, so you can go out there and just use your TMs. Now the reason why we're saying you should invest into this Pokemon is because beforehand there really wasn't as much of a reason to use Palkia. It was somewhat nerfed from the water side without having a water type quick move, and then from the dragon side, on especially like just in the raid side, Palkia just wasn't the best dragon type attacker. So a lot of people really didn't find themselves using Palkia until you ended up getting that move Aqua Tail unlocked. As far as its stats are concerned, it seriously has an amazing set of stats. Its lowest stat is its stamina, but even then it's still pretty good. I would go ahead and give it a check mark there. An overall ranking of 25th when we're talking about Palkia from the stat side. Like we said before, we've got that new move Aqua Tail being added in, and it is just in the normal move pool. Now the reason why you would want to have this Pokemon added, by the way, is simply for the fact that in the Master League, this Pokemon dominates. It's actually ranked within the top 5, of course, while using the move Aqua Tail. So if you have not pulled the trigger on the Pokemon Palkia, I would recommend you to go ahead and do it if you were interested in it from the PvP side. From the raid side, unfortunately, Aqua Tail does not help. Hydro Pump ends up being the better performer. It's still very hard to find a way to get this Pokemon to be useful from the water side just because it doesn't have a water type quick move. But once again, if you were interested in PvP, it may be worth it to go ahead and get this Pokemon powered up to level 40, unlock your secondary charge move, and then of course, go ahead and use the move Aqua Tail. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to the number 3 position. And this is Groudon. So Groudon, once again, another Pokemon that found itself being useful in a way because of a new exclusive move. In this case, it's Fire Punch, once again from the throwback challenge that we saw a couple of weeks ago at the time of making this video. So Groudon has an amazing set of stats already. Its lowest is its stamina. It's still doing good though. Its attack stat is very good. Defense stat is very good as well, and maintaining an overall ranking of 7th in Pokemon Go. But the reason why we're talking about this Pokemon is once again because of that move Fire Punch. Maybe in this case you would consider powering up your Fire Punch Groudon all the way up to level 40, but that's going to be a lot of Stardust, that's going to be a lot of candy, so it may be worth it to go ahead and just Elite TM it once you get yourself a Charge TM on a Groudon that you already have powered up. People may have already powered it up already from the raid side when it was one of the top ground type attackers. It's still ranked at like number 3 though, so if you end up getting this and just unlock that move Earthquake, you can be ready to go from the raid side as well as from the PvP side, which is always nice when you get that synergy going on with it. But the reason why you would want to invest in a Groudon currently at this point in time is because it is now within the top 5 in the Master League with this move Fire Punch, and then of course unlock that Earthquake as well if you want to, and with that you get that synergy on the raid side as well. Although Groudon is not the top ground type attacker, it is still within the top 3, so it ends up doing very well from the raid side already. That's why you probably already invested in it if you've been interested in getting a ground type attacker. But then on the PvP side, it saw a major improvement specifically in the Master League, which is why we ended up putting it on the number 3 position on this video. Number 2, we've got Reshiram. So everyone needs to go ahead and celebrate if you are on the raid side and you're looking for a Pokemon to invest in. We're finally stepping outside of PvP, and for Reshiram, we're specifically going to be focusing on the raid side. We see a major performance in this Pokemon specifically because of the moveset, and we're talking about it from the fire typing. It has an amazing attack stat. It's got a pretty solid defense and pretty solid stamina stat. It really just doesn't have anything really bad going on with it, which is why it has an overall ranking of 12th. So specifically for this Pokemon, what I recommend investing in it for is actually from the fire typing with Fire Fang, with the move Overheat. Those moves are actually really good, and for a Pokemon like Reshiram with a super high attack stat, we actually are seeing the number 1 fire type attacker in many situations out of the Pokemon Reshiram, which is why you may want to go ahead and invest in Reshiram to go ahead and up your fire team from the raid side. From PvP, not seeing as much of a deal out of it. I mean, but it's kind of hard to compete when you're number 1 on the raid side. So PvP, not as much, but specifically from the raid side, loving this Pokemon. And then finally, when Zekrom ends up coming out, Zekrom is just going to be a monster of a Pokemon. Actually has the exact same stats as Reshiram, but in this case, we're talking about it from the electric typing and specifically mentioning the fact of how good it's going to be from the raid side. Now, of course, I'll cover this Pokemon in the deep dive series later on and get into more details, do simulations, all of that stuff. But just generally speaking, this Pokemon is going to be a beast from the electric typing, and of course focusing specifically on it from the raid side, which I know a lot of people are excited about. We just haven't really been seeing a lot of great raid Pokemon being introduced into the game, but luckily with Reshiram and Zekrom, we are changing our fates. So anyways, what we were talking about is you want to use Charge Beam and the Wild Charge. Thank the Lord it ended up getting Wild Charge. That's what makes this Pokemon possible. But then in the same time, you also have Dragon Breath and then Outrage. Outrage is amazing, so even then, with this Pokemon from the Dragon typing, it's still going to be a solid investment. Just not necessarily as good as it is from the electric typing, but regardless of that, what I'm saying to you is that this Pokemon Zekrom is worth investing into as soon as it comes out. You don't really have to worry about how the longevity is going to work for this Pokemon. It is a huge investment to be able to make, and it is going to be a solid one. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode talking about the top 5 Pokemon currently worth investing into in the game. If you did enjoy it and you have some kind of recommendations you would like to make sure to put them in the comment section below. Also, was there a Pokemon that I missed? If there was, be sure to let me know, and I will see you next time. If you want to develop a deeper connection, I would highly recommend you to check out Patreon. We've got a lot of really cool things going on over there. Check out all of these supporters that we have. We are almost up to 100. We are also posting some special content, some behind the scenes work. And if that is the type of thing that interests you, I would highly recommend you to check it out.